we have a new AutoBoat system, the AutoBoat Smart Head. Check it out.
That looks pretty gorgeous.
In prior videos, you probably saw me put the AutoBoat system on my basic trolling motor. It turned my dumb trolling motor into a smart motor. And now we have a new AutoBoat system, the AutoBoat Smart Head. So the difference is, on the old system, everything was inside the box. The brain of the AutoBoat was inside this box, and you had to find a spot on where to store the box. Now, you simply will swap out the head of your existing motor, you'll slide on the motorized collar, and then you're gonna have a nice streamlined GPS motor system. Also, there's tons of new features packed into this smart head. You get a coiled cord, which is something you would probably more expect with a GPS motorized system. It's gonna keep it from wrapping around itself and getting too tight. It has stretch. You can see right here. Also, they beefed up the auto drive so that it can better accommodate larger motors. Inside here, you can have remote firmware updates via the app. So you can grow with the system. Once you own this system, there will be updates that can come out, which might include new features. It might include little improvements, but overall, you're gonna get a solid system that can grow with you and update. It's gonna be like more future-proof. Also, there is several remotes for this system that will be released. We're gonna have the standard blue remote for people that are cost conscious and want just the most basic system that just works. We're gonna have an updated remote, which is gonna be pretty fancy, that has a colored display and it's magnetically charged, and it's just gonna be a little bit better remote. We also are gonna possibly have a foot control, because many of you guys asked about a foot control, and you would be able to sync that up with the smart head system as well. And don't forget the app. You can connect the app up to here, and the app is always free. It has all the features free. No paid add-ons, none of that stuff. It's all free. So here's a look at the smart head system. We're gonna install it now.
So right here, going through the motor head is a bolt. When in doubt, film it, and then you'll know how it goes back together if you need to end up putting it back together. So right now we're looking at the inside of the head. At this point, we're gonna disconnect everything. So we're gonna pull all of these terminal connections off. Okay. So we took off the factory head here. We're just gonna yeet that, and now we have our wires. So these are the wires here, but these are the ones that we really need right here. These are what control the main power to the motor. It's the red and the black, kind of intuitive. I could try to keep these wires if I wanted to, and I could try to stuff them down into the shaft and keep them out of the way, or I can just snip them, and that's probably what I'm gonna honestly do. I personally do not need these, so I am going to strip them. I'm using one of these stripping tools because I love them. They are awesome. These things are so handy, and they're pretty cheap. You can find them on Amazon. These are like the coolest stripping tools. So now we have our trolling motor shaft, and we took the motor head off. We took everything off pretty much, and we just have the trolling motor shaft that you see right here. And we have the wires already cut. So there was a yellow and a white little thin wire that was coming out of here. We just cut those, and then we cut the red and black just enough that we have enough to strip some of the wire, and then we'll be able to attach the AutoBoat. And now we're ready to attach the smart head. This is the smart head system. This is what is going to convert this dumb motor into a smart motor. So now we're going to take the auto drive, which is the motorized collar. It's going to slide over the wires, and then it's going to slide down the shaft of the trolling motor. Now we come over to this side right here, and you'll see we got the steering lock T-bolt here. We're going to push the auto drive down. We're going to line up, and then we put the T-bolt back in. And you want to make sure that you don't put it in too tight that the motor can't turn. So now we're going to take our depth collar, and you'll notice our depth collar is a clamshell design, so we can just go like this. We then can attach the T-bolt and start cranking it down. There you go, it's locked in now. Now we need to strip the wires right here so that they can fit into our connectors. And you'll see we stripped them about a 1/2 inch. Now, do not twist these wires, okay? It's all right if you kind of push them together and so, but do not twist the wires. Now what we do is we take quick connects here. So this one here is the black connector. We're going to end up opening it up. So you see right there, it's opened up. And this will allow us to press the wires in. So right there, they're pressed in. Now it's clamped down and it's locked on. It's that easy, folks. Now we're going to take our red wire. Push the wires in there. It's so smooth. And there, now it's already attached, guys. Now the wires get pushed back up into here. There we go. That's one. There we go. And now I slide up down. Now it's there. Remember, there is this arrow on the top here, and this has to be pointing in the direction of travel for your motor. So you don't want to get this backwards. You don't want this side over here. In just a few minutes, we turned this dumb tiller 5-speed trolling motor into an AutoBoat GPS smart head motor. This is now remote control. We don't have to use the tiller anymore. We can control everything from the remote or from the app right here. So it will come with the remote, and you'll have options for other remotes here in the near future. So starting off with the remote, we can turn it on and off. We got remote steering. This whole system is much lighter weight than a traditional bow mount, and it has more features. We can do anchor mode right here, which is a favorite. Everyone pretty much wants a GPS motor for anchor mode. When you hit anchor mode, it's going to hold your position where you are. So right about now, we are kind of on point with the anchor point, and you'll see that the motor is pointed into the current and into, the environment that is moving it off course. So if this was wind, it would be pointing into the wind. This is current, it's pointing into the current, and our anchor point is right there. When you end up holding your position with anchor mode, you can also do anchor jog, which you can use the left, right, up, down in order to be able to adjust your position accordingly to be able to make sure you're on the exact spot that you want to be on. What we can do is we can anchor jog to the left. So right now, the motor is going to allow us to move left a little bit. And then eventually, once we have adjusted our position, so you see we adjusted a position a little bit, we can keep tapping left. And we want to go a little further left, we can bring it a little bit more. I actually like to be a little bit more over there anyway, because it's a little deeper water. You also have nav point heading right here. Nav point heading will end up holding your heading. So basically, whatever direction of travel you're going, that's the direction that that motor will hold and take you. So right now we're running straight. We can hit nav point, which is the N. And now the motor is holding us on course in relation to the current. It's going to be running us like this direction through the current. it's doing a good job. AutoBoat is currently taking us on this heading, and it's going against the current. But now let's say we want to jog to the left with our nav point heading, and we can do that. We just hit left. And now we are going left a little bit of our previous assigned heading. Right here, this is cruise control. You basically hit it, and it just basically puts you into a speed. It's not really cruise control as much as it's just like a cruise speed. So it allows you to just jump to 30% throttle. We can go down, stop the propeller. But yeah, basically we can hit that button right there and it will just jump us into a 30% speed.
You can do waypoint stringing to create a route in the app, and the app is actually free and you don't have to pay for any upgrades. Because why would we do that to you?
So when we first get it, we are going to calibrate for the area that we are primarily going to fish, and that's going to give us the highest accuracy. To do that, we simply hold down N. The system will beep. It'll do a rotation, and that will calibrate the system for true north and all of the settings that it needs. There you go. You hear that ascending little beep sound, and it's done. Now we have the highest accuracy for our area. If we're going to travel east or west, on a map, about 100 miles or so, probably should end up recalibrating just to get the best accuracy. Otherwise, in between uses, if you're traveling and you're staying kind of in a tight area for fishing, you shouldn't really have to recalibrate. So you'll see here, we just anchor jogged forward several times. We anchor jogged to the left some. And now we're kind of holding position here in this area where some currents are converging. And what's super cool is we did all of that without needing an additional heading sensor. We didn't need an additional heading sensor. AutoBoat's able to do it on its own. Other motors, fancy motors, expensive motors that everyone says, oh, they're the best, they're the best. They're not the best. They're just expensive. They have a heading sensor that you have to buy in order to activate anchor jog. With AutoBoat, you don't have to buy a separate heading sensor. You just buy the AutoBoat smart head system, you mount it on your basic garage sale tiller trolling motor, and boom, you're ready to go. So coming up here on the top of the head, we do have a emergency stop. So let's put the propeller on. So right there, you can see the propeller's on. We hit the button and it emergency stops all functions of the motor. Now, if we try to do anything, nothing works on the remote until we depress the button. And then we hear a nice ascending beep and we know we are good. Now we can power back on and now it's off and now it's on. The AutoBoat was designed to be able to, bring everyone into the space of GPS motors. It's supposed to be affordable. It's supposed to be easy, modular. Heaven forbid your motor burns out. Dude, you can find these motors everywhere. Like, I already ended up finding extra ones as like backups for like 50, 60 bucks. I found different shaft links, you name it, whatever I want. So, I got different pound thrust ones. I can basically change this out and put it on different motors for different cases. So like if I sell this boat and I say the next boat, I need a longer shaft than 36 inches, I just find a longer shaft, motor that works. It's modular versus if I buy a Motor Guide XI3, it's a clunky beast and it's clunky to mount. It's an expensive mount to put on versus this just clamps on. You don't even have to have this mount. Like if you have a John boat, you just clamp it onto the side gun. Like it's so simple. So I love that. I love that about AutoBoat. That's why I now am a co-owner in AutoBoat, because I absolutely love this system and I want to grow with this company and help influence what they're doing because I think it's super awesome. Check it out. Links down in the description. And use discount code Kayak DIY to save you some money if you're interested. No sense in paying the full price if you can get a discount. It's at TBN or tinyboatnation.net. And Kayak DIY saves you 5%.
On top of the morning, on top of the wave, on top of the team, on top of the days, on top of my purpose. I create. Y'all wanna copy, but we're not the same.